So let's talk about dreams, because these are the parshios that speak about dreams. How do we look at a dream? How are we supposed to dream? We have Yosef HaTzadik having dreams. He tells them to his brothers, they're not very happy. We have the Sarah Mashkim and the Sarah Ophim. We have the butler and the baker having dreams. And their dreams determine their destiny. And then we have Pharaoh having dreams. Fat cows, skinny cows, fat stalks, skinny stalks. And Yosef seems to be interpreting dreams. He's the dreamer to begin with. There's never an interpretation for those dreams. His brothers seem to feel that he's headed on the direction of kingdom, rulership, domination. Hamaloch timloch aleinu, mashal timshal banu. Is that what you expect to do? Yosef said he didn't respond. He didn't respond. But apparently, they saw in Yosef a dreamer that wasn't just dreaming about events and incidents. They saw Yosef's dreams as a vision, a global vision, if we may call it that. And in this week's parsha, in Parshas Miketz, Pharaoh has a dream, and for some reason, nobody's able to interpret the dreams for Pharaoh. So that's really one simple thought that I'd like to share with you. Because the pasuk says that Pharaoh explains the dream to Yosef, and he says, there's nobody that can interpret it. I've told it to many. They ain't poser osam l'Pharaoh. And there's nobody to interpret it. And Rashi brings a medrash that says, they did interpret it, but not l'Pharaoh. They weren't interpreting them for Pharaoh. It's hard to do that. Sometimes you go to ask a shaila, and you'd like the Rav to paskin this way. You really want it. And I remember there was the Tarmasar convention. I remember the Rav Steinman Shlita came in from Bnei Brak to speak at the Tarmasar convention. This is like 1,500 educators. And the question was, should a Rebbe be playing ball with his Talmidim during recess? In Israel, that's not something that's done. The Rebbe's the Rebbe, and there's somebody that coordinates the recess, the playtime. So Rav Steinman answered, maybe it's not the cover of the Rebbe, maybe it's not, we have our own ideas, but they were asking this child to Rav Steinman. They flew him in from Eretz Yisrael, and in the open forum questions, they asked him this question, right? So he says, Rebbe should be on a pedestal for the Talmidim. It doesn't mean you can't have a warm relationship with them. Of course, you have to be nice and warm, but when you go out and play ball, it demeans you to a certain extent. I remember there was a time when I had my own lawnmower. I had my own lawnmower, one of those electric lawnmowers you buy by a garage sale, and you're really determined you're going to save all that money on the gardening, on the landscaper, so you're going to go. But then, when you become a Rebbe or a Rav, you just can't, you can't mow the lawn anymore. Now, I know a lot of those that say, what do you mean? It's not true. You're a regular person like every person, and you're a human being. But apparently, Rav Steinman felt like this. So another Rebbe says, yeah, but you have to understand, Rav Shiva has to understand that, you develop a relationship, and there's certain students you can't have that relationship with them in the classroom, right? So Rav Steinman said, yeah, but it's still, you can. So then another Rebbe from a different city says, yeah, but I live out in Phoenix, in Scottsdale, Arizona, and there, the students don't really have that impression that a Rebbe is on a different level of the playing. So in that kind of city, could we do it? So I said, really, it's not, he's trying to say that. Until finally, then somebody from somewhere in Wichita, Kansas, the day school there, so wherever it was, said, by us, it's just really the other way around, because we have a great baseball team, and maybe it was New York, I don't know. right? You know, we have a great baseball team here, so therefore, you know, it not only doesn't take away from the Rebbe, but it really gives a higher esteem that the Rebbe is, because he could play baseball, and then to learn better Torah. You know, the famous song on the Journey's tape, right? The Rebbe that hits the right. Rebbe used to teach us Torah, you know that, right? And he hits the ball. So Shlomo said, well, that's the way it is, and then maybe it would be better if the Rebbe played it. So these are the four questions. So then Rabbi Salman got up on Shabbos afternoon, and he says, I don't understand. You brought Rav Steinman here from Eretz Yisrael. You brought him here because you wanted to get an answer from him. He told you the answer once. He told you the answer twice. He told you the answer 3 times. Until you were able to manipulate the question in a way that that's not the purpose of the... Pharaoh got interpretations for his dream. But he wasn't happy with the interpretation. What does it mean? They interpreted. They were professional. Pharaoh looked up in the yellow pages. He had his advisors. What was it that they didn't? So Rashi says, because they said this is the 7th stock. Sheva banos ata molid, Sheva banos ata kover. You're going to have 7 daughters. Give birth to 7 daughters, and they're going to all die. That's what the fat cows and the skinny cows, the 7. That's what it was all about. So that's the interpretation. So why is it that Pharaoh was not satisfied with the interpretation until Joseph came along and explained him this whole idea with the 7 years of plenty and the 7 years of famine? And the Farshim will explain very simply, and I said that it was going to take 5 minutes, and it's going to take shorter. And the teretz is because kings don't dream about their personal issues. When a king dreams global. The king dreams for his entire constituency. Because kings and leaders think big. They have to think big. They can't be thinking about, of course you have to care about the little guy and you have to care about the details. But you have to be able to envision that there's a lot more going on here than just what meets the eye. And that's why when Yosef's brothers heard the dream, there was a sun and moon. I mean, what? You know, what's? It's funny. A parent came to me. It was a parent at the school, and they said, Kamenetsky, we're just so happy. And this was when our child was born. They have one son. They don't have any daughters. They have one child, already well into school. I said, we just dreamed about. They said, we only wanted our child to go to this school. But then my wife and I had a dream soon after he was born, and we dreamed that Rabbi Shane was going to be my son's 8th grade Rebbe.
Come on.
I'm telling you. And they said, wow, this dream came true because Rabbi Shane became a Rebbe. I mean, I hope he lived, I hope he grade 2 all the way through the years. But you know something? That's the way we have to dream. We don't just dream about apples and oranges and parking spaces and chairs and seats and outlets that do work or don't work. We're talking about our families. We're talking about our legacy. We're talking about when a child has a problem. We don't look at it as if to say, oh, don't worry about it. So don't worry about it. So what if you don't like school so much? No, what the child is going through, what goes on in your home, the conflicts that we have, they're not little teeny pieces. We're kings and we're queens in our home, and our children are princes and princesses. And when Yosef dreams, his brothers are nervous that he's thinking globally, he's thinking leadership. And when Pharaoh dreams, he doesn't just dream about his own 7 daughters. Pharaoh is dreaming about the whole entire world coming down to Mitzrayim for food and being able to provide sustenance for all of them. And I think that's a very, very strong message as we lead our households. When we have to decide where the child is going to go on a Sunday afternoon, don't just look at it as if, it's a movie. Think about the whole big picture of where he's holding. When your daughter is going to a birthday party, think about, it's not just a birthday party, it's a family that can use encouragement, and by us coming to the birthday party, we're going to be able to to change the whole life and the whole mood in the household there. When we serve dinner to our son who's a yeshiva bachur, or our daughter who's a Beis Yaakov girl, and somebody that's learning Torah, somebody that's a leader. See, I'm not just, Rabbi Shlomo Hyman, there was once a snowstorm, and nobody showed up to yeshiva except for one bachur. And Rabbi Shlomo Hyman, to Yeshiva Tarvadas, he came to give shir. Nobody else was there. Somebody said to him, "Why is Yeshiva here? There's only one bachur here." He says, "You think it's one bachur? I'm teaching him and his children and his grandchildren and his great-grandchildren. I'm teaching hundreds of talmidim." Because when we dream globally. We were talking about the Hafnaz Sefer Torah to the school. Somebody's giving now, donating a Torah to the school. He doesn't want the Torah just to be a Torah given to the school. He wants it to be as much as the school could gain possibly on it. So many people should see that this is a place on our buses of Torah, and this is a place where kids love to learn. That's your house. That's our house. These are our houses. Every one of our houses is a little Beis HaMedrash. There's a little Beis HaMikdash. Every one of our children is a little Gadol Hador or a bigger Gadol Hador. And if we take a look at our dreams and think that the dream is something that's worldwide and magnanimous and global and far-reaching, and those dreams of leadership and those dreams of Kiddush Shem Shemayim will have the help and the hand of HaKadosh Baruch Hu to be able to be fulfilled.